So, big announcements from the government at 5 p.m. on Friday about what they're doing to help small businesses during this time. We've had the weekend now to look at some of the detail, and the purpose of this video is really to try and distill that information down to our small business clients on what it means for them. So we think that the government is trying to help small businesses in 4 ways, and we're going to talk about that. So the first way is there's going to be relief from certain forms of taxes. So some taxes are going to be waived and cancelled completely. Second thing is some taxes that are due not going to be cancelled, but they're going to be deferred. They're going to give you more time to pay on those. Third thing is grants. So a grant is a sum of money that doesn't need to be repaid. And then the fourth thing is loans, and obviously loans are money that does need to be repaid. So let's look at those. I'm going to talk about them in probably the order that I think is most important to small businesses at the moment. So the first one is grants. Okay, so the big thing that they're doing there is the coronavirus job retention scheme. Now what that means is rather than you having to lay off staff that you can't afford to keep on during this period, is you can now send them home, and the government has agreed to cover 80% of their salary cost up to a monthly salary cost of £2,500. Second thing that they're doing is that they're making cash grants available through the local authority. Now what that means is that you have to have business premises, and your business premises have to be paying business rates. Now, if you've got a business premise with a small value, a low rateable value it's called, we think that means less than £15,000, then you're going to be entitled up to a £10,000 grant. If you're working in the retail or hospitality industry, so shops, cafes, restaurants, bars, then that grant is going to increase all the way up to 25,000. We've spoken to Southampton City Council, who are our local authority for switch accounting, and they're saying, yep, this is coming in. They're just in the process at the moment of working out the mechanism for getting that money to ratepayers in there and small businesses in their area. So we'll provide more detail on that claim process as and when we get it. Third and final thing on the way of grants is statutory sick pay. So employers can now claim it for any staff that are off because of the virus or having to self-isolate because of the virus. And to kind of level the playing field a bit on this, what the government has said is the self-employed can now claim for statutory sick pay as well. And actually, that's only £94 a week. So does it really go far enough? We would say probably not, but it's something. Okay. Second angle that the government's coming at this from is loans, and this is the big one. This is where all the energy and the steam. So when the Chancellor stands up and says £330 billion help for small businesses, a lot of it is coming through what's being called the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme. And what we're seeing here is that the high street banks, the banks that you already have your business accounts with, have been allocated sums of money that they've been told to make available to small businesses. They're not allowed to charge any arrangement fees, and those loans have to be interest-free for the first 6 months. The idea being is that any businesses that have immediate cash flow problems can now access money pretty quickly through their business bank accounts on some pretty decent and favourable terms. Okay. Third thing the government's doing is time to pay. So not cancelling taxes, but deferring them. VAT is the big one on this. So if you're a VAT registered business, you're still going to have to file your VAT return on time. But what the government is saying is that for the next quarter, if you can't pay it, then you don't need to, and they'll look at that again in June. If you're self-employed, or if you're filling out a self-assessment tax return, then the second payment on account that was due in July, they're now not going to ask for that, and they're going to move that out until January next year. So advice to clients is you're still going to have to file your tax returns on time. So once we get past the 6th of April and the end of the tax year, then really you should be looking at filing your 1920 tax return, but if there's anything that's due on it, then you've got a lot longer to have to find the money to pay for it this time around. Government's also setting up a dedicated time to pay helpline. So if you have got income tax, corporation tax, or even VAT from previous quarters that's owed, they're now gearing themselves up to help you with some time to pay arrangements on that. And then the fourth and final thing is relief from taxes. Now, there's not a great deal to say on this, as is usual with the government. Very keen to help, less keen to actually give things away. And really, this is just restricted at the moment to business rates relief. So by and large, anybody with business premises who's having to pay business rates this year is most likely not going to have to be paying anything at all next year. Now, what we're going to continue to do over this week, because it's a pretty fluid situation, things are changing quite a lot, monitor the situation. As more details made available on these things, then we'll provide updates to our clients. So yeah, hoping everything's okay, and that's it. Thank you.